Hello YouTube, this is Josh from the world famous Unified Developer Network and Unified Software Solutions. Today's lesson is about validating user input. Input validation is when you place and enforce guidelines on what people can type and input into your web applications. This actually stops any undesired actions from going through and processing on your servers, being stored in databases, or any XML files you have on your servers. There are three major things you want to do when you validate. Is you want to check to see if the data type is the right one that you were looking for, or even go as far as making the data type of something somebody types the one that you want. So that way if I type in the number 2 and you change it to a string, it's not the number 2 anymore, it's the character 2 from the ASCII. Also, input length is another huge thing. You don't want too much input because of buffer overflow, but you also don't want too little because you might then have really insecure passwords. The final thing is harmful characters. You don't want anything that can actually put your database at risk, like some more complicated MySQL injections, or even as far as nested queries for MySQL, or for cross-site scripting, there's also the brackets in JavaScript code, something you really don't want to see go through to your application. So the first thing we must do is we must take this input and create a variable. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Our variable's name is going to be var, and it's going to be from a post variable. We do post so that way the user input for very secure or very information sensitive applications such as job applications or login applications aren't in a query string in the URL. So we're just going to say that we're getting input from a field in a form called input. Okay, now we have the input. We need to check it against some sort of mechanism to see if it's what we want and what we're looking for and secure enough to be used in our application. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check it against some type of string length identifier, so we could say, yeah, it's exactly what we're looking for. We're going to use the string length function right here. So if string length var and say we need super tight security is less than 8, or string length var is greater than, say, 18, because I've seen some really obnoxiously long passwords. And we're gonna say exit, and we have to use exit so that our script does not keep on executing if it is not within our boundaries. So we're going to exit if the string length is less than 8 or greater than 18. So, and we're just going to put a little message saying input must be between 8 and 18 characters. And we're going to do an else if. This time we're going to have to check if our characters are actually valid. We want to see if there are any illegal characters such as JavaScript brackets or anything like that. So we're going to use the strpbrk function, and we're going to check for the needle in the haystack being our variable, and the needle being everything in between these quotes. So we're going to start by those. We're just going to put a bunch of ones that I know are just no good. And I'm going to put an escaped. And remember, if you're using single quotes, you have to escape the double quote. This means it's going to look for a quotation mark. If you're using double quotes, you have to escape the double quote. So if this returns true, we're going to do another exit. And inside of this exit, we're going to say input contains illegal characters. Okay, so now we have the length, the illegal characters down, so we're looking pretty good because this defends against buffer overflow and the minor chance of MySQL and cross-site scripting. However, in other videos, I will show you better ways of doing defense against cross-site scripting and MySQL injections. Last thing we're going to do is we need to make this we have to check if it's going to be the right data type. And usually what I actually do is I set the type. So that way, even if I type a number, instead of saying, no, you can't do that, it's just going to create a string and say, okay, fine, we're just going to store it in a more secure fashion. So we're just going to set type of variable to string. That way, even if I'm typing like a 2, it's going to say, oh, I'm going to store the string 2 into this file or this database or wherever you're going to store it. And then finally, if you wanted to create a function out of this, you could just put the function brackets around it. Say you want this to be highly reusable, because I love reusable code. Function validate, then just return var. That's it for this video. Remember to comment down below, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.